Hey everyone, this is Dylan, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review for you guys. So the movie I'm reviewing today is Hellraiser Hellworld. So since it is technically Cyber Monday today, I decided that it'd be kind of fun to do a review over a movie that had to do with the internet and things like that. Unfortunately, I kind of fell into the trap of this movie where I thought it was going to be Hellraiser meets the internet, but that was really like a minuscule part of this movie. So unfortunately, it's not exactly what I wanted, but I still want to do a review of it because I have some things to say about this movie. So Hellraiser Hellworld was released on September 6, 2005. It was directed by Rick Botta, and it stars Lance Hendrickson as the host, Catherine Winnick as Chelsea, Doug Bradley as Pinhead, and Henry Cavill as Mike. And this was the 8th movie in the Hellraiser franchise. And I've seen most of them. I've seen at least 1 through 4. I'm pretty sure I've watched 5. I don't think I've seen 6 or 7 yet, and now I've seen 8. And I've also seen one of the later ones. But this was also the last one that Doug Bradley was Pinhead in, and the other movies they recast him. So before I get into this review, if you're not already subscribed and you'd like to be, please hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps my channel out. But now let's get into the review. So this movie opens up on a scene of some guy digging like a hole in his basement, and then all of a sudden he takes a gasoline can, puts it over top of his head, and lights himself on fire. We have a group of friends, Chelsea and Mike and a couple others, and they are all at this funeral, and then we have a flash forward to 2 years later, and we see that the group of friends are kind of a little bit more distant. There's 3 of them that are kind of close, and then 1 that they haven't talked to in 2 years. And so the 3 that are close, this game called Hellworld, which is like Hellraiser on the internet. If you make it through this game, you can open up the Laments configuration, and it gives you like an invitation to this like exclusive party for only people who play this game. So they all do this, and they decide that they're going to go to this party. And once they get to this party, they meet this guy who is like the host. It's Lance Hendrickson's character. And he kind of like talks to them and goes through. So these characters start getting picked off one by Pinhead. And so it's kind of interesting. I will leave the synopsis at that, and we'll get into the things that I liked and didn't like. I thought it was kind of fun to have this meta aspect of the Hellraiser franchise where Pinhead and the Hellraiser itself is all inside the universe. I think that that is kind of interesting, and I think that while this movie didn't do a very good job of doing that, I think that it is an interesting idea. So I always really like things that are meta, so I was predisposed to liking that element of this movie. I also like the aesthetic of this movie, I guess I could say. You can tell very easily that this was an early 2000s movie, and I don't know, I think that the aesthetic is kind of fun. I was introduced to horror movies in the early and late 2000s, so it's kind of nostalgic for me. So the last thing I'll say that I liked was that I liked Henry Cavill in this movie. It was kind of weird seeing him in a movie. I had no idea he was in this until I was watching the opening credits and it said Henry Cavill, and I was like, is that Superman? And it turns out that it was. He basically is playing like this really horny guy, and he's having fun, so it was a fun little character to have in this movie. And he kind of gets turned into like the pseudo Cenobite, which is kind of fun as well. Now let's get into the things that I did not like. I was not that big a fan of Catherine Winnick in this movie. Don't think I've really seen her in anything. I did watch like the first season of Vikings, and I didn't notice anything off about her, but her acting in this movie was so bad. It was like overacting to the max, and I just don't know how they weren't like, we need to get some more takes of you doing this, because it was not good. There was also some really spotty CGI. CGI is not used in this movie very often, but there's a scene at the end that looks really, really bad, and then there's one kind of in the middle where you can tell that it's CGI, but it's not as bad, but the one at the end is like unforgivable how bad it is. I also didn't like that, unfortunately, they only had Pinhead, Bound, and Chatterer as the traditional Cenobites in this movie. So that was a little disappointing. I wish we could have had some other of the famous Cenobites like Butterball or the female, which I don't know if she has a name. So the last thing that I didn't like, which is now a hallmark of the Hellraiser series, is that everything past the fourth movie is just a reworked script, an already established script that they just rewrote to include Hellraiser. So this didn't really seem like a Hellraiser movie. And also, like I said, it was kind of, everyone thought that this movie was going to be about Hellraiser on the internet, and it was not anything like that. It was very briefly Hellraiser on the internet, and then it turned into your traditional slasher. But now that we've heard what I had to say about this movie, let's talk about what other people thought of this movie. On Letterboxd, it has a 1.8 out of 5. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 17% critic score and a 23% audience score. And on IMDb, it has a 4.2 out of 10. And so I ended up giving this a 3 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. I thought that this movie was very just mediocre. I actually kind of enjoyed it for what it was worth. Most of the reviews that I was reading were bad because people had thought that it was about Hellraiser on the internet, but I thought that for the most part it was a decent movie and it was kind of fun watch, and there's enough there that'll keep people who like Hellraiser happy, but maybe not enough to like bring people into the Hellraiser franchise. So that's a little disappointing, but overall for me it was just a very mediocre movie, and I'd watch it again, but definitely need some time in between watches for that. But that is it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. If you've seen Hellraiser Hellworld, let me know in the comments down below what you thought of it, if you like it, if you don't like it, and why. And remember, if you're not already subscribed and you'd like to be, please hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a like if you liked it. Thank you guys for watching and have a great day. Bye!